And as I always ask you, if you like this reading, please like, subscribe, leave a comment if that's what you'd like to do. Do whatever you like to do, I don't mind. And I'm going to start your reading right now for Leo. So the first card you have in your past is the Nine of Wands. Okay, so this is what I'm seeing in this card. I think you were really, really close to someone once. I'm seeing a lot of frustration. I'm seeing determination, but then I'm seeing you not being quite sure how to go about doing this thing you're kind of determined to do. Yeah, so there's someone in this card. I think you were once really close to them. I don't think this is a love connection. This is something else. So you're really close to this person and you kind of separated from them. You didn't mean to, but you kind of drifted away from this person because I think there was somebody else in between you. That's what I'm seeing when I look at this man who's in between these wands. So it's like someone's gotten in between you and this other person. And what I'm seeing is you might have been trying to call them, talk to them, see them or whatever. Every time you do that, they're either on the phone, might be on speakerphone even. They're probably in the background listening in, things like that. And you can't speak to this person privately. And it's really like this person's trying to push between you, like these wands, or come between you. That's what I'm seeing. It's very frustrating. I think this is a very special relationship that you have with this person. It's someone who you should have a relationship with. It might be a relative, someone you're very close to or you were once, and this person got in the way. You know, if you can find a way to talk to this person without the other person being around, try and do that. You know, I think you probably have tried many times to do that. But I think, you know, if you haven't been able to do this yet, keep trying, because I think you have things you want to speak to them about. They also have things they want to speak to you about, but you can't talk because of this other person. That's what I'm seeing in that card. So the next card you have in your past is the Moon. So yeah, again, I'm getting the same kind of thing. I think something's being hidden. There's a lot being hidden. There's something being hidden by this person you want to get close to, and they're hiding it because they can't talk to you about it privately. There's something you want to talk to them about, but you can't because it's something quite personal and you don't want this other person to hear. And there's also something the other person's hiding. And that's why they don't want you to get close to this other person. I hope that all makes sense. I know it sounds really, really complicated, but they're a very controlling person. That's what I'm seeing. And you know, it's very, very stressful. It's not that dramatic. It's not super dramatic, like they're not hiding something terrible, but you know, there's a lot that needs to be free. You know, you feel like you're kind of blocked. You can't talk to them, they can't talk to you. And you know, this really needs freeing up. You really need to be able to be open with them. That's what I'm seeing. And it's quite frustrating. I'm getting that frustrating feeling. The other thing I'm seeing in this card is that you pulled yourself out of a really bad situation. I think it was a relationship, just like the lobster on this card. I think it was a very difficult time for you. Very, very tough, rough time. I think also at that time you were kind of not expressing what was happening to this person because of this other person. And you're still like that now. So there's still a lot that you want to express to them about what happened to you and the situation you were in and the one you're still in. You still can't do that. So I think, you know, you've gotten out of this all by yourself. You didn't have this person's support because you couldn't talk to them. So I think, you know, there is still some way. I think I'm getting the feeling that you might actually have some kind of chance to talk to them in the future. I really, really hope that's correct, and I really hope you do, because I think, again, there's a very special relationship and you're not being able to, or you're not able to get close to that person because of this other person. That's what I keep on seeing. And so I think this is kind of reminding you to keep trying. Don't give up. You might have given up a few times. Keep on trying. I think that's the message in that card for you. So the last card you have your past is the Page of Pentacles. Yeah, I'm seeing you trying to achieve something. I think this might be something work related or business related. I think you were really, really progressing. I think you've progressed. You worked really hard. And I think what made you really push with this was that horrible situation you got out of. Because it's sort of like, I want something for myself. I want something that's my own. And you didn't have anything that was of your own when you're with this person. And you kind of just pushed into going along with whatever they wanted and all of that. And finally, when you got this business or this thing to yourself that you could really pursue by yourself, you really put everything into it. And you're able to do that because you didn't have this person around you. So that made you really, really push forward with this business or this thing. I think at this time, you are having a bit of a stop, or you did at this time, I should say this is in your past, just because you couldn't keep up at that same pace forever and ever and ever. You know, you'd be going on, wearing yourself out. So I think you might have come to some kind of a stop. But I think you still have a lot to go. You still have a lot of growing. You still have a lot of learning. You're probably not right at where you want to get to now. But don't let this stop discourage you. I think you've just had a bit of a burnout maybe, or some kind of, exhaustion where you've just had to stop. You just couldn't keep it up. But, you will keep on going at a much better pace, I think. You still have some learning to do as well, but you will get there. And I think this is something you truly love. I mean, look at the way the page is looking at this coin. So you really love this thing that you're doing. The big thing is it's totally yours. That's the big thing I'm getting in this. And I think there's also some money in this if you keep on going with this. And I think, you'll definitely be able to make a living out of this if you're not already. That's what I'm seeing in that card. Sorry, I know I went on a bit too long. I was just going on a bit. Sorry about that. So, the next card you have your presence, the Knight of Wands. So this is quite interesting, actually. I think this is about love or some kind of love interest. I think you are going a little bit backwards and forwards with someone maybe at this time. Probably there's some kind of dance. You're kind of going backwards and forwards a bit. You go forward, they come forward a bit, and then they go back and you go back. All of that. You're very attracted to each other. There's a lot of fire around this. I think there are times when you're unsure about how this person feels about you, and they're the same. They really feel the same. That's what I have to tell you. You might not realize that. I think there's a little bit of flirting going backwards and forwards, and I think you'd like to pursue things, but then I think there's a part of you that wants to keep this as kind of a dream almost, or like at the flirting stage. I don't know. You're kind of a little bit unsure of going ahead into a full relationship. There's definitely flirting going on between you and this person. But you're not sure if you're ready for this. That's what I'm seeing. I think there also might be a few logistic complications around this as well between you. Maybe you live far away from each other, so there might be that. You might be telling yourself, oh no, I can't pursue this, they're far away. That might be something there. Again, you're getting this impression of them that you're not sure kind of how they feel sometimes, and they get the same of you. Because you're both going backwards and forwards, and you're both kind of mirroring each other. That's what I'm seeing. What I'm getting here is that if you did come forward, if you ever did come forward and ask them to go out or whatever, I think they'd actually say yes to you. I think their response would surprise you, I think. They'd be surprised that you'd ask as well, because they feel the same way about you. But yeah, their response would be a surprise. I think, they'd definitely say yes to you. I'm not saying that's what you have to do. It's up to you, of course, but that's what I think would happen if you did come forward and ask them. That's what I'm seeing. So the next card you have your presence, the Ten of Cups. Beautiful card. I think there's a real opportunity there's a real chance for you. I think if you stopped going backwards and forwards and you really sat down and you really thought about the reality of being with this person in a proper relationship, I think you'd realize that you have a lot going for you as a couple. You know, you share a lot of interests, I think. You get along really well. There's obviously a lot of attraction there with all that fire. So, you know, think about this seriously, I think. You know, you can't keep on going backwards and forwards like this. You know, I think you would have a future if you both let it happen. That's what I'm seeing. There are some logistics there, but, you know, I think you'd be able to work it out if you wanted to. So, you know, at least think about this. The other thing I'm seeing here is that, you know, there's this situation around this person who's coming between you and this other person. Again, I think this might be a relative, an important relative to you. That's what I'm seeing here. I think this other person that's coming between you might be in a relationship with them, or they might be married to them even. But the thing I'm seeing in this card is that they're putting this image out to the world, this person who's coming between you two. They're putting this image out into the world of this perfect couple, everything's wonderful. But I think you know that it's not quite like that. You don't know what the actual truth is. You're trying to find out what that is, but I think you know that it's not like this. You know, it's like they're putting out these kind of propaganda images almost on social media or whatever it is. Because if you look at this card, obviously this is a happy family. Everyone, you know, everything looks amazing and happy. And but if you look at this couple, they're actually on the outside looking into the scene. You know, it's like the grass and the garden and the house. It's all past that level. Can you see that? There's like a line in between them and the scene. So they're not actually in the scene. So what they're putting out to the public is not what the reality is. That, you know, this is a scene that they'd like to be in, but they're not in that scene, and they're trying to show people something that's not actually happening. So, you know, again, keep on trying. I think this is another message to tell you to keep on trying to talk to this person privately. You might even have to be a little bit inventive about this. Try something different maybe. Because again, they'd love to talk to you. They want to speak out. They want you to know what's being hidden. You want to speak to them as well. You want to get close to them. But again, you can't do that unless it's private. That's what I'm seeing. So the last card you have your present is the Nine of Cups. Again, something's being hidden. You know, here we have this man on this card again. He's hiding something behind this curtain. He's sitting in front of it. His arms are folded and he's sort of guarding what's behind that. And also he has this great big smile on his face. He wants to show the world that everything's fantastic, and it actually isn't. So you need to get around this gatekeeping person and you need to find out what's going on behind that curtain. And the person behind the curtain wants to come and talk to you as well. So same message again. The other thing I'm seeing here is that I think you're trying to find, because this card can be about fulfillment, emotional fulfillment and contentment and all of that kind of thing. And I think this is what you're searching for at this time. You know, I think that might be one of the reasons why you haven't quite come forward to this person in the Knight of Wands. You're kind of looking for that fulfillment in yourself before you find it in someone else. This is if you're single, obviously. So, yeah, I think you're going on. I think you're on the right track if that's what you're doing. I think you're right to be finding that within yourself. I don't think it's anything to do with the person in the Knight of Wands. I don't think it's that you don't like them or whatever. I think also this horrible last relationship we're in kind of made you want to really just sit with things and just kind of you know, get over the old before you're ready to get into the new. There's that again. Yeah, again, I do think, I'm seeing this again, I do think that if you did ask them to go out or whatever right now, if you ask them now, I think they'd say yes. Whether this would just be as a friend at this stage or whatever, I really, really think they'd say yes. You know, they really love being around you. So again, at least consider it. But then I can also see that you're kind of still getting yourself together after this last situation as well. So you might not be quite ready. So there's a lot of mixed things in there. But if you were ready, they definitely say yes, I'm seeing that. But I think you're trying to kind of sort yourself out before any relationship comes along. I think that's what I'm seeing, a few mixed things in that. Hope that makes sense. I know that was a bit mixed up. So the first card you have for your future is the Knight of Swords. Okay, so I think this is something to do with this business thing I was seeing in the Page of Pentacles. There is some disappointment around this. I'm actually seeing an email or a letter or something. I think someone's going to go back on something, go back on their word or something like that. I think someone was promising something or indicating that you'd be able to do something, and they're going to actually go back on that. It might have something to do with travel as well. It might not, but I'm seeing it could be to do with travel. Now, I think it might be that you were told you were going to be doing something or going somewhere. Might be about making a presentation or meeting with someone. Whatever this was, I think you were very positive about that. You felt that it was going to be really fantastic for your work or your business or something. I think you might have even rearranged other things in your life so that you'd be able to do this. And I think when you hear about this, if you haven't already, obviously you're not going to be happy about this. Let's just say that. I mean, that's an understatement. You're going to be very unhappy, very disappointed. Try not to rush in with anger about this. I know you're going to be annoyed and all of that, but try really hard not to rush in and be angry, burn any bridges. I mean, obviously for me, I wouldn't be working with this person again. I wouldn't have much to do with them ever again. But don't be angry. Don't rush in. Don't say things, because I do think if you do that, it'll come back to, it'll backfire on you in the future in some way. That's what I'm seeing. You know, if you want to punch a pillow, go do that, do whatever. But just try and keep your anger to yourself, because I know it's hard. I get very angry about things, but yeah, it'll backfire if you do that. You know, it's a small world, especially when it comes to business. Just remember that. That's what I'm seeing in that. So the next card you have for your future is the Six of Cups. This is really interesting, actually. This is really interesting. I think you actually might... I think this might be a way where you can speak to this person in the Nine of Wands. This person who you want to speak to. This is really good. I'm really happy to see this. This is what I'm seeing. I'm actually seeing some kind of an event. Now, it might not happen for a while. It might be a few months away. But I think this will be your chance to get to this person in the Nine of Wands by themselves. I think you'll be able to talk to them without any interference while you're in this, at this event or this setting. Now, it won't be private in the normal sense. What I mean by that is there'll be a lot of people around, but I think having people around is actually going to be what gives you that privacy. Because I think there are a few reasons why that is. I think this controlling person is going to have an audience or people around them. And if they try to control things or act crazy in front of the audience, it's not going to look good for them, let's say. Also, you're going to have a lot of opportunities to talk to this person because they're going to be distracted as well. There are going to be a lot of people around they're talking to, and so they're going to be distracted by all those other people. So that's going to give you another opportunity. So, yeah, if you get this invitation, a family event or something, and they're invited or it involves them, say yes to this, whatever you do, because this is where you're going to have some real communication, some one-on-one time with this person. So I really hope that resonates with you and you get that time, because I think this is very, very important for both of you. So the last card you have for your future is the Seven of Cups. Yeah, again, I'm seeing a similar thing that I was seeing in the Nine of Cups here, in that, you know, you still have a long way to go in terms of being ready for a relationship, I think. If you're single, again, obviously. And I am seeing a bit of pressure around you to be with someone, you know, comments, maybe people saying, oh, why don't you go date someone? Why don't you do this or that? And you do have this person in the Knight of Wands, but You're not 100% sure yet. I think you are building yourself up in yourself first, which is a good thing. But I think whether you do get together with this person or not in the Knight of Wands, even the fact that you're flirting with them, or even that they're kind of in your life, this is a really good thing, because I think it's put you up to a new stage. You're kind of at the stage where you're just thinking about this at least. So that's something. It's like you're starting to become more open-minded to a relationship. So this is a process, and I think this is helping you to get further along in that process. And I think, you know, the only thing to do is just let yourself go through this process. Don't let anyone tell you you shouldn't be with someone, or that you should be looking, or whatever. Follow your instincts. Do what you're ready to do when you feel ready. And I also get the feeling this other person in the Knight of Wands is in a kind of a similar situation to you. I think they've had a bad situation. They're kind of getting themselves together. And I think they're kind of flirting with you is about them kind of pushing through their own process as well. So you might meet at the right time, you know, in the future when you're both ready. You might not, but yeah, that's what I'm seeing there. So, I mean, it's good. It's good that you're kind of at least working your way through that process, if that all resonates with you. So, Leo, I hope this resonated. General readings can't always resonate with everyone, as you know. But again, if you like this reading, please like, subscribe, leave a comment if you'd like to. And thank you so much for watching.